Alright. Wanted to record this, kind of document the map I had been working on, probably just in general for this year. This is one of the first maps I started dealing with Tekkit. This is the first one I got into. It was relatively comfortable with some of the stuff, but I was still learning a lot of the details of certain things. So this was the area I ended up starting in. This was not all trees originally. This was just plains. I did some terraforming, and it grows quite a shitload. But yeah, alright. I was going for like a sort of secret underground industrial base type thing when I had this in mind. There was a very sort of specific image I had in my head for what I wanted to build this around, kind of like a Half-Life entrance, like facility, stuff on display, make it very clean looking. So I can show you here. We can find our way around. Jeez, it's kind of like its own little maze. Just dig our way over there. Let's see, where are we? The terraforming definitely does a good job. Maybe too much of a good job. So, alright, here's the entrance. As I said, this was originally nothing but plains, but I wanted the whole overgrown, hidden look. Almost also like a Resident Evil type, big fancy facility, kind of hidden where you wouldn't really expect it. So this is the entrance. Go in. This initial hallway, I dug this by hand. This was the first thing I started digging, building anything, just going straight down. I knew it wanted to be underground, so this was it. At a later point, I added all the vines and stuff to make it look overgrown. And you go down here, have another terraformer. This is the only way I could get any of this stuff to grow down here, was forcibly doing it. And this is the main entrance, tucked away down here. As you can see, we have a computer to open this up. Ooh, wrong one. You can see that this is the first time I learned about the red power computers. I didn't even know that something like that was in the Tekkit pack. So first time using these, learning how it works. I still only understand the basics, and I would really like to do more complex stuff, but I don't know if I'll ever get around to that, or if I'm able to. But this is the main entrance. This is the set piece that I had in mind when I was building this. Hold on a second here. We run out of stuff. Oh, that was quick. I'll store some crap in here so you can see how this works. I'll get some iron, some copper, some silver. Spread these out a bit. Alright. So, this is the main image that I had in my head. I had thought about this for maybe a couple weeks. Seemed like a while. But I wanted this. I wanted pipes coming through showing the stages of processing. You see the raw ores come through there. I did have quarries set up at first. Anything that they dug up and pumped through would go through raw materials, and then once the ores were macerated down to dust, they would pass through the stage 1 processing, and then go back into the processing room over there and then be smelted into ingots, and then the ingots would come out down here at the very bottom, the final stage. If anything, you can see the I don't know, is it reinforced iron, silver, all that stuff coming through, and the ore is still coming through. But this right here was the main thing that started this whole project. This is the only thing I had planned, pretty much. Dug straight down, just knew this had to be underground, came through, dug down this hallway, and decided this is where I was going to put it and start everything. That's where it went. Let's go down here. This is the power flower thing. First time I've used this. I built this very late in the project, so I really didn't use it. It just sits here and pumps out energy, red matter, whatever. I never even used any of it really, and just kind of threw it on here. The room isn't obviously very attractive or anything. I didn't do much with it. So as we move on, when I first built this, I did have the two hallways. I built them, or dug them out, and then looped around and decided to put the central room here. So this is the main hub where I do, you know, hang out. Main area, have the project table, have the control panels. This is another idea I sort of wanted to work off of, and I like controllability of everything, turning everything, you know, being able to turn everything on and off when I wanted to, even though you really never need to. Just like the idea of it. Wood floors, break this up. Glowstone, wood ceilings. I also, it was the first time I learned about the information panels. Was rather excited to find out those existed, and you can have these set up to display either energy storage things like MFSUs, or hook it up to a reactor, get information on that. This was initially where I had the energy condenser. Anything junk-wise, quarries pumped out, cobblestone, etc., would get dumped into the energy condenser and just get turned into diamonds. Eventually I just didn't even need that stuff anymore, so I was experimenting with the relays. Never used these before, so I was learning how they worked. Then over here in this room, this is the initial room that I had built, probably the first room, these two on either side. This was the processing room. In the beginning I only had the one furnace, one macerator, the extractor and compressor. I found that it couldn't keep up with the amount of material I was putting through it, so I had to add another furnace and two more macerators, so that I could separate the different materials, because they were just getting overloaded with stuff. Switches to turn each one off if you need to for whatever reason. And then you can see down here, this is the lower maintenance access. Come downstairs, and this is the behind the scenes for the machines. I try to keep everything as neat and tidy as possible. As you saw upstairs, minimal pipe viewing, just the incoming stuff into the machines, and that's it. Everything's tucked away down here. I like to keep it nice and neat. Booster pipes, and then everything runs out of the machines. It runs down here, and then this is the diamond pipe that separates this stuff, either to go back into processing again or to go into storage. So it's that. And then if you go back down this hallway, you can see this is where I have all the redstone engines pumping the material out of the machines, all set up, just wireless receivers. I only have 2 engines per pipe. I wanted to have those levers in the front for turning them off, And what I've found is that it is on that brick right here to the right of each machine, and if I put an engine here to get a third one on the pipe, it would the lever would interfere with the engine. It didn't quite work, but I've had good enough luck with just the two. It's usually enough. Go back out. This is the area, sort of dress this up. It's pretty clean, nice and organized. And then if we go down here, oh, it just scoops up, man. What the heck that was? There's junk on me. Oh, we have some material here. So if we go down here, actually this is my bed. I never got around to building an actual house or room to stay. I just threw this in here. Then this leads to the upper maintenance access. This is just the initial sorting pipe, the stuff that would come in from the quarries, run through here. This is the main sorting pipe, the first one. This would separate everything and either send it directly to storage or to junk, or all the way down. And I have everything labeled. Try to keep everything as neat as possible. Coal, run through there. Gold. I do have booster pipes up here that aren't powered because I found, again, that the machines couldn't keep up. So I actually had to slow this stuff down, give the machine some time to process it. So that's that. Now if we go to the opposite side of the area, this is my power energy related area. Again, I wanted all the cables and stuff on display, but behind, behind glass, high voltage stuff, don't touch it, etc. Just to kind of give it that feel. This is all reinforced glass. I have this here for geothermal. I never got around to doing water or lava pumps or any of that. I did that on one of my previous maps, so I really wanted to just move on to new stuff, trying new things out. So I just went straight for the solar, and that was pretty much it. I threw like 4 high voltage solar arrays up there, and that's an extensive amount of power, so I didn't need anything more than that. So that runs up to the MFSU and then over to the transformers, and I have the different wirings run through, high voltage down to medium and then low, so that I could get whatever power I needed, mainly just for looks, to make this area interesting. If you go over here now, I actually can give you some music. Oops, this thing sucks up the records. Where did it go? Don't know. Let's give you one here. Ooh. It's just a jukebox in here, playing music. Just threw this here in case you wanted to listen to it. Kind of break up the hallway a little bit. And this ended up being the storage area. I had one chest that everything was getting pumped into. That was not enough space, obviously. So I decided to work on a sorting facility, just added one chest for each. These crystal chests hold a lot. A bunch of these chests are not even used, really. It was mainly for the material, for these metal materials. Just try to keep everything organized. More chests. This was the processing bluetricity related stuff. If you go back here, you can see the sorting area for the chests. Very simple, nothing crazy. Just try to keep it neat and organized. Again, these are overflow chests for these because I just had so much. And all of this material in these chests was mined with quarries. I did not spawn this into the game. I just had 6 quarries, 6 huge quarries set up, and just they would run for days. So that's the storage area. Glowstone, break up the ceiling a bit. Painting, dress things up. If you go down here, this actually in the beginning was a third doorway into this center hub area, but I wanted to add somewhere central for the monitor to go. Just put it right there. Put the glass. I kind of like the way this is more. Looks kind of neat. And then added a clock up there. Transmutation tablet. Energy condenser. And a charging bench for all the electrical tools. Now, if we... Actually, I can show you the other area for all the lighting I added later on. If you go here, take the stairs up. This leads to all the hallway for the lighting. Added this on later in the project. Was able to fit this nice and neatly up here, kind of hidden away, clean. It's kind of realistic. Fairly simple. This is the machine room. Lighting for that. The lighting, obviously, I have so many torches, is not necessarily needed, but I liked the way it worked, and I left the torches up anyway throughout the building, so that shit wouldn't constantly be spawning and pissing me off. These are computers for controlling the lift, which is directly below us. So if we get back out of here, go back down. Now, also with the door in the beginning, this is the first time I learned that they had Red Power added motors and the frames so that you could actually make moving things, and I love stuff like that. So the first project obviously was the simple door that is very basic, pretty awesome. I liked it. Gives it this sort of Fallout vault underground place feel. The next thing I moved on to is a little bit more time consuming, a little bit more elaborate, was just the lift. I had an idea for putting something underground, like some sort of biome. This upper level was very industrial, very cold, so I wanted to have this underground. This is where I actually was going to put the house, in sort of a lush forest utopia deep underground. I thought it would be a good mix, change things up. Here, open this up, and now this, I had blown this room up. When I first did it, it was just about this big. The edge was kind of here, and then I threw a terraformer down and just started pumping shit out. Then it felt too small, so I went and I blew up this whole area. I expanded it. Was first time using the Nova Catalyst, experimenting with that. Made things quite a bit easier and quicker. I got this hole. I ended up blowing out this room and then breaking through to the sky, and I loved the way the light came through and give it this sanctuary type look to it. So I threw another terraformer over there. Actually, no, I didn't. There's just this one over here, and for some reason stuff isn't growing between here. I don't know why, but I fell in love with the way this place looked, but I never ended up doing anything with it. I never built a house or anything down here. It did actually, there is a abandoned mine that I ended up breaking through right here. I have not gone into this and explored it. That's the basic gist of this place. It's pretty neat. Yeah. I really like how the light came through here, kind of exposed this, and then this is out in the middle of the forest area. You can look down, kind of neat, all hidden away. So, yeah. Pretty neat. A little disappointed I never did anything with it. I still have the images in my head of what I had planned on doing with it, but I just got distracted and moved on to something else. Shut the doors. You may hear piston noises in the background when the door and lift is operating. They are not powered by pistons. I didn't like the dead silence of it when opening or closing the door and using the lift, so I added some pistons at the top and the bottom, just connected to redstone to just activate along with the machines, just to give it to some audio. So that's that area. That's pretty much it for this main area. Then I got distracted and let's see, this hallway, when I first built this, led to my quarries. Okay. Yeah. When I first set this up, I had 6 quarries. Each of them was 60 by 20 blocks. They were huge quarries. It would take a quarry that size days to reach the bottom. It's just constant running. I had 6 of them, tons of material coming through, all just running through the pipes into my place and getting processed. It was also, they were all underground. They were about this level, so there was dirt above this. This was all dark and underground. You couldn't even see in there. But after doing that stuff underground, before breaking through and seeing the way the light sort of glowed through there, I thought I'd break through this area and see how this looked, basically. Quarries obviously cut smooth, rectangular, you know, so all these walls were smooth. Thank God for the Nova Catalyst thing. Experimenting with that still. You can just shoot explosions, and I spent a lot of time doing that around the whole thing to break it up and look more natural, realistic, give it the texture and sense of depth to it. It took quite a while to do this. The game was crashing quite a bit from the catalyst. Once I just figured that out and got used to it, I was constantly escaping and saving the level while I was doing it. So if it did crash, I could just pick up where I left off. But my first idea for this area was to build a floating island type thing with a castle, but I didn't think that fit with the rest of the industrial building setup that I had. So the next thing I decided to experiment with was the nuclear reactors. I hadn't done anything with this yet, so this was the building I made for them. Actually, I could show you. I just made a giant ball of dirt and then surrounded it by reinforced stone. It's explosion resistant reinforced stone. Took quite a bit of time. In the end right now, I'm not really pleased with the way this whole thing looks, but it's the first time doing it. I've got an idea for what I'd do next. Yeah, it's pretty neat in here. This is the main entrance. The design of this ball didn't give me much room to tuck things away, so all this wiring is exposed, all the lighting, I don't really like it like that. I think it looks kind of sloppy and unrealistic, but it's the best I could fit in here, and these blocks are a total bitch to remove unless you use creative mode. It was just annoying. So this is how it was. I was able to squeeze everything in here. This is the reactor chamber itself in water. There's upstairs and the downstairs, and then the control room. So if you go through here, this is the main control room. I really liked what I did with the switches and the lights and everything back in the main area, so I wanted to do that again for this. I like the controllability of it. So I have, you can turn the lighting on and off for the entire building. This gets pretty dark in here. I did remove all the torches from here, so it does get pretty dark and cool. I like that. And then I do have switches for filling and draining the chamber. Again, I like the controllability of the stuff, so I added pumps down at the bottom for draining and filling the chamber. It's the first time I used the red power pumps that work in a different way than the BuildCraft water pumps. First time using that, I really like the way they work. It actually fills the chamber up with water, and have that set to the lighting. Click here. Just like with the doors and the lift, I didn't like the dead silence when I had the pumps running. So if you can hear in the background here, I made a custom sound with using the howler alarm. You can fit your own sound files in the folder, and it will read them and run it. So I went on the internet and got a sound file of water. It was like sewage water pump running and a different alarm, and then wired that up to these switches so that whenever you would use these, they would make this audio and let you know that, you know, this was happening, it was going on, no matter where you were in the facility. Gave it a more realistic feel to it. Pretty neat. Obviously, main reactor power to turn it on and off. Monitors, really like the monitors in this. Again, monitoring reactors. This is temperatures. This is a remote thermal monitor. I did not hook this up to a kill switch. I don't like the idea of the machine just being completely sort of self-reliant and there being no danger in it. I think that takes the whole fun and excitement out of running a reactor, is that sense of danger. You have to keep an eye on it, otherwise you could have disastrous results from this. So it is not. I just have it set to a certain temperature, and when it hits that temperature, it triggers the alarms and the lighting. You may have seen this red light over in the main building, and then some alarms scattered throughout. These are all triggered to go off. I can actually show you here. We're at 2000. If you set it to 2000 or below 2000, that triggers the alarm system, and the light goes off. This is reading, flashing alarms, and that will keep running until temperatures drop below what I have it set at. So I usually just leave this at 9,000. I actually did get a legitimate use out of these alarms. It was quite funny. When you escape and leave the game like this, it pauses it, But when you leave the game like this, it is not paused, and if you minimize, it's still running. I had left the reactor going. If you can see the time remaining here, when this reactor is fully charged, it can run for 2 hours and 46 minutes, I believe. I had minimized it, gone and done something else, and on a whim, randomness, had come back, turned the audio back to this, and heard the alarms going off, which was obviously panic-inducing. Bring the game up. I was over in the other building to find that the time remaining was 20 seconds, and it was at like 9,500 degrees. Obviously, I panicked, sprinted over here as fast as I can, and I shut the reactor off with 7 seconds remaining, I believe. It was quite awesome. The reactor itself was sort of on fire. It wasn't in meltdown yet. Nothing had turned to lava, but it was pretty much smoking and on fire. Awesome. These are the MFSU monitors for this facility. I put 4 in just so I could contain all of it, not have any extra loss. This reactor is only a 180 EUT. Not very high. I'm actually quite disappointed in the power output. Obviously, setting up all of this to kind of run a reactor is quite elaborate. And it just feels like the amount of power you get out of it is not worth the time and energy. I know that you can set up reactors with ice to put out a shitload of power, but I don't know about the ice. It just feels kind of like cheating or something. I don't know. I haven't done it yet. That's probably what I'll do next in a different building. Set it up all a different way. Have maybe multiple reactors and bigger control room, do everything more elaborate, you know, because I like doing stuff like that, making it detailed. So this just runs, pumps out the power. If you go out here, you can go down below, and this is the area with the MFSUs. I have 4 of them here marked. Large high voltage insulated cable, kind of give it that high voltage look, make this look very industrialized. Again, lots of glass so you can see everything on display. The piping for the pumps, you can see the water in there. I like the fact that the water from the chamber is sort of leaking. I guess it's a safety issue, but I like that. Kind of gives us dangerous feel down here. I do have a trap door. You can just go down here and look. These are the different pumps. One is in and one is out. The wiring for the pumps and the wiring for the lighting. Pretty neat. Try to keep everything nice and organized, keep it visible, compact, etc. Have some transformers over here, and that's pretty much it for the lower area. Pretty neat. And then if you go around to the other side, stairs that lead up to the top, and actually I can show you here, this is the maintenance access for the control panel. Yeah, lots of wires. I love doing stuff like this, figuring it out. This is the first time doing anything this compact and elaborate. I like using the strips to separate everything so it doesn't touch. The howler alarm for the pumps, as I said, you can have the different sounds, and the wireless transmitters for the different things around my entire base to control stuff. Pretty neat. I like all of this. And then if we go upstairs, we can see that this is the top of the reactor chamber. Kind of drain the water out of it there. Glass roof. And this is the way into the reactor chamber itself. Dress things up. Traditional decontamination chamber. Go in here. Added a box here to dump the depleted or mostly depleted uranium into the chest, and this will get pumped out of the chest and over to the storage for the depleted uranium. And then the reactor chamber itself. You go in here, and then you can just take a nice dip in the pool. You can see this is just a reactor layout I got off of the wiki, the Tekkit wiki, and this will just keep running. You can see the smoke heat coming off of it. And obviously I imagine it's not safe to be in here. Let's get through here and shut the door, and then you can go back out. And that's pretty much it for this map. That's all I've done. I started working on this earlier in the year, and then stopped playing Minecraft for a couple months, and then picked it back up and started adding on and doing this whole reactor and everything. Wooden bridge. You can see, make it daytime here. I didn't finish this, obviously. Looks like shit. I didn't really like the way the sphere was. I didn't do much with it. Looked kind of dumb. The bridge had the lines for the water going under the bridge and the power. And then the water coming up here and then running out. You can see the reactor. Solar panels on the top to run this stuff. And the water pumping in and out of this river here. And then this is the solar panels for the main base. Bluetricity solar panels and the high voltage BuildCraft solar panels. But that's it for this map. Just wanted to document this in case, you know, I'm constantly, not constantly, but all the projects that I've worked on over the years, all the different worlds, and everything gets lost through either Minecraft updates or hard drive wipes or whatever. So this is the first time I'm getting this on video, recording it, and I have an idea of stuff I'd like to do in the future. And yeah, obviously this area is not finished. This whole map obviously is a never-ending project for stuff you could build, but I'm quite pleased with how this is all laid out, tucked away, clean. That's what I try to go for with my maps. So, all right, thank you.